So today we got a 2015 Ford Edge, and we're going to pull the front and rear door panels. Now there's going to be a few tools that you are going to need, and let me show you those real quick. So we are going to need a real thin screwdriver, something thin. We're also going to need like a stubby screwdriver, or if you have like an angled type of bit, something like this, you can use something like this. But if you don't have this, we're going to need something stubby like this, which is what I'm going to be using, just because it's only one screw we need to get to for that. Maybe a magnet, possibly a magnet. 10mm socket, ratchet, I have it on a drill. And then we're going to need a 5.5mm socket as well. So I have these on two different drills, so I don't have to be switching them around. Some kind of a pry tool, plastic tool preferably. Any kind of door panel removal tool. I got two different styles here. And then we're going to need some kind of a light, maybe. Now, you might not need these. I have not done this job yet, but most of the time you do need them. This might have a hook system, so once I pull a couple of the screws out and stuff, I'm going to lift up and see if the panel comes up, because most of the Fords do just hook in. So I didn't take the other side apart, but I am taking this side apart, which is the driver's side. I wanted to show you, how to remove it. So let me go ahead and set you back up, and then we'll get started. So the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to remove this trim piece right here. We're going to also want to take off the switch. There's a 10mm bolt here. There's a 10mm bolt down here. In front of the door over here, there's a little Phillips screw. And then there's a couple of screws on the bottom. I believe they're Phillips. I haven't looked at them yet, but I believe they're Phillips too on the bottom of the doors. And that pretty much does it. Once we get the panel off, there'll be something here that we have to take off. I know that for a fact. And then we'll obviously unplug the switch and all that good stuff. So let me go ahead and bring you in, and let's get started. Guys, so for this first step here, we just want to be real careful getting in here. You could just use a real thin screwdriver. Just be real careful to get it under here, and then just unsnap it and then slowly pull it off. And it has one clip right here, and it just sits in there like that, snaps into place. Now there is a 10mm bolt inside of this area, right up inside of here. So there's a 10mm bolt in there, so we're going to go ahead and take that off. And then you might need a magnet to get it out. So our next step is going to be to take this switch out. So let's just be real careful between the switch and this little silver plate here. So all I did here is actually the best way to attack this is probably going to be from the back side. So just get something to kind of lift up the back a little bit, because there is a clip right here. If you can lift that up and then just help it along and pull it up. And then it has a little hook in the front. So you don't want to pull straight up. You want, as soon as you pop that up, kind of pull back. And then we're going to go ahead and grab that switch and pull it out towards us. Now there is two harnesses on here, and all you do is you push and release those harnesses. So you have a green harness right here. You're going to go ahead and push on the little button and pull down and release that. And then there's a little gray harness right here. We're going to go ahead and push and release that as well. And now you have the switch out of the way. Now there is a 10mm bolt right down in here. We're going to go ahead and get to that and then take that off as well. And that's right here. I don't know if you can see it, but that's a 10mm bolt there. And looking at the bolts, they're both the exact same size. Now for this next step, you are gonna need a little stubby screwdriver, or like I mentioned earlier, if you have like an angled type screwdriver where we can get in tight areas. We're gonna go ahead and remove. There's a little Phillips screw right up here in the front, and that one you just unscrew it. And it's just a tiny little Phillips screw. And that is located maybe about an inch down from this little black thing on the front side of the panel. Now there is two more on the bottom. I'm not going to bring you in for those. I'm just going to go ahead and take them off, just because I'm a little bit pressed for time here. And the two on the bottom of here, they are Phillips screws, just like the one in the front. And they're exactly all the same size. So those two are on the bottom of the door. So I'm going to get those out as well. Set those aside. So normally what I do, if it's a Ford, normally on these I like to pull up to see if it actually releases. But this looks like it might have clips. So, yeah, this has clips on it. So, normally what you want to do is try to find a spot where you can pull. You can either try to grab right here and just kind of give it a tug. If it doesn't pop right off, don't force it. What you want to try to do is get either like a wedge or a door panel tool of some kind. Now when I started the video, I told you needed certain tools. And a wedge will actually make it easier, but it's not necessary, okay? You can actually go ahead and try to get this behind the panel. Just kind of pull on it, just like I did right there, and I just kind of jammed it into the side right there. And what I want to do is I want to create enough space so that I can get my tool, either my door panel tool, so I can get under there, find one of the clips, and then just pop it. This one you actually put it in and then you just squeeze it and it opens it up for you. So I'm going to go ahead and try to do that real quick. I need to put my headlamp on because I'm blind here. And get my glasses on. So let's kind of reach in there, try to find where the clip is, and you don't want to force it. So if it doesn't pop right off, you might want to get down under there, be able to see where the clip is. Now it looks like this clip came off. Okay, just gonna run my fingers all the way across. I'm actually just running my fingers up the panel and it's unsnappy. Basically all I really did is I just got under there, kind of started grabbing it, kind of sliding my fingers up, and it's just, the panel itself is just popping off. Now one of the clips in the front over here did come off, and I'll show you in just a second. So I got it all completely released. Now all we're going to do is we're going to lift up, get it past that rubber piece that's right there, and then lift the panel away from there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go behind here and look to see which harnesses are still hooked up. There should be one right here for the door lock and for the mirrors. So right here we have one harness right here that we need to go ahead and unplug. So we're going to push down and then release that. And then the other one is right here. That one's for the mirrors. I'm going to push in and pull it out. Lastly, just make sure you slide it out from the door lock right here. A little rod. Make sure you slide the panel off and then take it out. And that does it pretty much for removing the front door panel. Now I'm going to be tinting these windows, so I usually have to get under this seal right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull that out. And then when I'm done, I'll put it back in. And when we go to put the panel back on, we want to make sure that we guide it through this door lock rod, and then we hook it on to this lip that's right here, and then we snap it into place with the clips that are here. Yeah, there's one clip right here that came off the door panel, and I'll go ahead and put that back on the door. So if you're working in here and you wanted to replace the speakers, these look like they're like 6x8, 5x7, 6x8. Usually can fit in this spot here, and they're held by some kind of a Torx, maybe like a T, I don't know, 15, 20, I can't tell. But if you wanted to work in here and get to the window motor, the window motor is actually right here. So there's 3 bolts holding that in there, and then there's a plug right there. So if you needed to work in there, beyond that, I don't know what else you'd be going in here unless you're going to replace the mirror. You'd have to take this trim piece out and do that. And that pretty much does it for that. So, you know, this is pretty much reverse solder. Once you get there, make sure you plug in your 2 harnesses here. Feed these through for the switch. And make sure you put all your 3 Phillips screws back in there, and then the 2 10mm bolts, one here and then one up here. So now I'm going to move you to the back door. Now that's a little bit different. It does have a smaller bolts. It doesn't have 10mm back there. It actually has the 5.5mm socket, so you will need that socket to get this door panel off. So let me go ahead and set you up, and let's go ahead and get started on that. Now we're on the back door, and for starters it's a little bit different. There's 2 access covers. There's one here on the side of the door that needs to be opened up, but you don't take it out. And then there's one right in here in the handle that you can access it from the bottom of the handle. You take a little screwdriver and you pop that and you take that cover off. This one doesn't come off. This one you're just going to open it up from the top, and then you're going to take off the little 5.5mm bolt there and the 5.5mm bolt here. And then on the bottom of the door down here, there's 2 Phillips screws. There's nothing on the front here, like on the front doors. There's no Phillips screw there. And then same thing, we're going to go ahead and pop the clips around there, and then we're going to lift the door panel off. So let me go ahead and get my headlamp on, and I'll bring you in here so you can see what I'm doing here. Okay guys, so the first thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and take a little screwdriver here and open this up. Then we're going to pull that down like there, and there is a 5.5mm little bolt right here that we need to get out. 5.5mm socket. I will take that bolt off. That's the first one. This is the top of the handle here, but you want to access this little door from the bottom. There's a little opening on the bottom that pops that off. Okay. So you want to access it from the bottom under here, and then it pops it out. There's like a little cut. There's a little cutout on the actual door itself, not on the actual trim panel. So you want to come from the bottom, pop that off, and then pull it out. And as you can see, when you pop it off from the bottom, then it just unsnaps from the top. And then reverse solder. You're going to want to hook it from the top and then snap it into place, okay? And there is a 5.5mm bolt right down in here. You can access that from the top, straight down. Now if you got skinny fingers, you can get in there, pull it out. Or if you have a magnet, you can pull it out as well. Okay guys, so the next step is down here. There's 2 Phillips screws. So we'll take the first bolt off that's there, and then the second one's going to be right over here, about a foot away from it. So those are just 2 Phillips screws. Up. Okay, so we got all the bolts out that we needed to get out. So next thing we want to do is we want to try to find a spot that we can get one of our plastic tools in there to be able to, you know, take the door panel actually off. Now again, just like in the fronts, there's really not a lot of room in here to get in here. So normally I like to do it as right here where the pocket is, just kind of pull on it and then get your tool and kind of get it in between there almost like a wedge. And all I did was just kind of pull on it, and then I got that tool right up down in there, just sitting there, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay on the ground like I did before. I'm just kind of going to get my fingers, and then I'm just going to kind of run my fingers, and then normally that just pops the clips. That's what it did in the front, so I'm assuming it's going to do the same thing back here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of pry it with the wedge tool that I had. Just kind of slide my fingers here, see if this door panel will release. There it goes. Now if you don't want to use your fingers, you can actually use a door panel tool. But these panels seem to come off fairly easy. Like I said, they come off a lot fairly easy, just kind of running your fingers on there. But if you don't want to do that, so you don't want to, you know, cut yourself or anything like that, you could just take your door panel tool and just kind of try to find where the clip is and then pop them out. This one I just did it this way because then I know that the clips aren't going to pop off of the door. Sometimes when you miss with the door panel tool, the clips come off or you might break them and stuff like that. So I got this completely loose here. I didn't take the switch off of here, so I'm going to lift it up and see if I can unplug the switch from the back side without having to pull the switch out. Let's see if this switch popped. Okay. So from the back side, I just pushed the switch up and it came out. Now, you could also just pry it from the front, get it out. Push down and then pull, and it will unplug it from the switch. You want to take the switch off on the front side where it's curved. You're going to go and lift it up, and it'll release it from this clip right here. You can see that. It'll release it from the clip, and then once you pop it up, you'll slide it forward a little bit, and it will release it from this little thing that's holding it back here. So when you put it back in, you want to make sure to slide it in and then snap it into place. Forget to plug it in, guys, okay? Or you could just go from behind the door panel, like I did. Get your hand behind here, push up on the front side, and then unsnap it if you don't want to, like, you know, scratch this deal here. Obviously, we're trying to keep from damaging anything, so I was able to push it from the back. Sometimes you can't get back there on some vehicles. On this one, you can. Now, I do have pretty long arms, so I can get them there and do that. You might not be able to do that, just depending on you, but like I said, you just go ahead and pop that up, slide it out, unplug it, good to go. Next thing you do, this panel's loose. We're just going to get it past the door lock rod. Go and lift it up. You might have to push it down on that rod to get it out of there. And that's it. We got the door panel off. You know, in here, same in the front. The speaker could be replaced right here. You got 5x7 or 6x8. They're held by some kind of a Torx. The window motor's right here. If you need to get to that, access to that. Obviously, if you need to replace the window, you're going to have to go in here and remove all this assembly here, which looks like it's not fun. I'm tinting the windows, so I'm actually pulling this lower seal out so I can get in here. And I can get under the seal so I don't get any kind of peeling when I tint it. That's pretty much it. It's going to be reverse order. Obviously, I'm going to put my seal back on here. We're going to put our door panel back on. Make sure the rod goes through the hole right there. And then that this panel actually hooks onto the little lip right here. There's a little lip. It's got to go on there. Okay? Once you got it on there, then we snap it into place. And then we put our bolts back on like we did. And then obviously plug in our switch and all that good stuff. Anyways, guys, that's removing the front and rear door panels on a 2015 Ford Edge. If you have any questions, hit me up. Thanks for watching.